Fewer than 1% of all the Americans who fought in World War II are still alive. The youngest are in their mid-90s. And on Sunday, at his home in Queens, New York, a veteran who's now 101 received the highest award of merit from France. That award is the Legion of Honor. The reason France presented it to him was for his role in liberating that country and Europe from Nazi Germany in World War II. And the veteran who received it was Jack Hausman, who is an engineer in the U.S. Army. He said he accepted the award on behalf of the 250 men he fought with, alongside the famous U.S. General George Patton. They served in Algeria, Italy, France, Germany, and other parts of Europe. Hausman, who'd always been a pacifist, said, quote, "Thank God I learned how to stay alive." And 79 years after the war in Europe ended, the acting French consul who presented the honor said it's our duty to thank the heroes who helped during World War II while we still can. This is the world from A to Z with me. I'm Carl Azuz, and it means the world to have you watching our show. Flash flooding is a regular occurrence in some parts of Afghanistan. The impoverished, war-torn country in southern Asia doesn't have the infrastructure or the drainage to deal with sudden rainstorms, and that's what struck last Friday in northern Afghanistan, in an area where the ground was hard from a dry winter, so it couldn't soak up a lot of the water. The seasonal rains combined with melting snow claimed the lives of hundreds of people in Afghanistan when muddy water came rushing into their villages and farms. This is a country where more than half the population lives below the poverty line, and it's also suffered a series of earthquakes over the past year. Some communities are hard to reach, and many don't know what to do next.
The ferocious roar of water heard moments before its devastating arrival. "Run away, people," yells a villager. "Oh brother, run away." The flash flooding in mountainous Baghlan province in northern Afghanistan hit on Friday. Many men were at the mosque for prayers, while women and children stayed home. Their mud brick dwellings engulfed with raging torrents of water. Everyone is filled with fear of what Mother Nature can unleash. "This is the roof of the madrasa and the flood has swept everywhere," explains the villager. "This man held me tightly, otherwise I was gone." The World Food Programme says it's sending emergency aid, some via donkey to now inaccessible areas, in a region that was already poverty-stricken.
There's been a system to identify the most vulnerable people who are in danger, essentially, of starvation. These areas are among those hotspots. So it was already pretty grim, and now it's catastrophic.
The Taliban says it's mobilising all available resources, but it's calling on the UN and humanitarian agencies to assist. For a country devastated by decades of conflict, suffering an economic crisis, this current disaster is one the people of Afghanistan must also endure.
On this date in world history. On this date in 1607, English colonists established their country's first permanent settlement in the New World. James Fort would later be named Jamestown after King James I. On May 14, 1948, Israel declared its independence after British forces withdrew from Palestine. This established the first Jewish country in 2,000 years, but led to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War when 5 neighboring countries invaded. Israel sees this as its war of independence. Arabs see it as the catastrophe because of the displacement of many Palestinians. And America's first space station launched 51 years ago today. Skylab was a $2.2 billion program that hosted hundreds of experiments and proved people could live and work in space. But it ended early after the spacecraft's orbital altitude dropped, and what was left of Skylab crashed back to Earth in Western Australia and the Indian Ocean. No one was hurt. Over the past couple months, we've told you about 2 living people who've received genetically modified kidneys from pigs. I say living because the procedure had been done before in patients who were brain dead. 62-year-old Richard Slayman was the first living person to receive a pig kidney. That surgery was on March 16th, but Slayman passed away on May 11th, less than 2 months after the transplant. Health officials said they, quote, have no indication his death was because of the transplant, but they also didn't say what the cause was. Scientists hope modified animal organs will be accepted by the human body and help address the tremendous shortage of human organs that are available. But the procedure isn't approved yet, and patients haven't yet seen lasting success afterward. The research is ongoing.
World in hours. Chondrichthyes is a taxonomic class of what kind of animal? Shellfish, starfish, shark, marlin. Chondri is a combining form meaning cartilage, and examples of fish with cartilaginous skeletons are rays, skates, and sharks.
Nothing adds color and life to a living room, doctor's office, or restaurant like some tropical fish. Many of these fascinating creatures are Pacific in origin, from Southeast Asia and China, but rules and regulations for fishing and exporting them are not exactly as clear as the crystal blue waters where they're caught. The use of cyanide has been controversial for decades. Fishermen used to cover reefs with the chemical as a way to stun fish hiding in the coral. It's harmful to the environment, killing the reefs fish rely on, and a lot of fish meant to be caught alive actually died. Cyanide was finally banned in both the Philippines and Indonesia, but enforcing the ban has not been easy.
If the fish is caught with cyanide or in an area that's prohibited, then the fish would be illegal. But it's not possible for the consumer to really know which fish is which because they don't have a tag like your clothes have on them that tell you where they come from.
Almost 3 million homes in the US have saltwater fish as pets. They're in high demand and it's a competitive market for sellers. But owners of US aquariums are becoming more wary of who they buy from and more aware of how and where their fish were first taken.
I don't want fish that are not collected sustainably because I won't be able to get fish tomorrow if I buy them today.
There are safe ways to catch these colorful swimmers.
They're capture nets, so what it is, it's a big net with pretty much a tunnel net. The end is clear, so they can't see it. And you have to interrupt their patterns of their routines.
Jesse says there are some tranquilizers out there that don't have lasting effects like cyanide, but his preference is buying types of fish that have been bred domestically for decades.
Most of these guys are being bred in Florida. Some are being bred in Atlanta. There are some wild-caught stuff.
And as aquariums learn more about how to recreate ocean environments, this may become a more healthy option for imports.
No one's able to cut down the competition like the Lumberjacks, and that's who's watching from Arthur Hill High School. Mrs. Perry's and Mrs. Joyce's classes are there. Great to see y'all in Saginaw, Michigan. The evergreen state of Washington is our next stop today. We heard from Mr. Conklin's class at Oakland Bay Junior High School. It's in the city of Shelton. And from the Magnolia State of Mississippi, we welcome Mrs. Hicks's class. South Panola High School is watching in the city of Batesville.
Take a look at this and try not to smile while you do. These fabulous and funny furry friend photos are some of the finalists in the running for the top prize in the 2024 Comedy Pet Photography Awards. Nearly 36 images submitted from around the world have made the short list in the annual competition, which organizers call a treat of happy, positive, and feel-good nonsense. It's not all a laughing matter. The competition aims to promote engagement of animal welfare while celebrating the vital roles animals play in our lives. The cream of the Animal Kingdom comedy crop will be judged on both their photographic and comedic qualities, and an overall winner will be announced on June 6th, along with a separate People's Choice Award winner, which anyone can vote for right now at comedypetphoto.com.
The composition of a crop of cats and canines cleverly captured on camera is sure to snap cuteness back into sharp focus. It lends itself to contrasting vignettes that are JPEG'd for success because the images don't lapse over time. And looking at IS only the best of the best blended together with the underexposed shots filtered out leaves competitions that HDR well worth the effort. I'm Carl Azuz, picturing seeing you again tomorrow on The World from A to Z. You mean the world to me.